ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 26. King Puranjana goes to the forest to hunt. So, yesterday was a important day. Yesterday was International Yoga Day, and I had a Bhagavatam class in the temple, so I could not conduct this. So, happy Yoga Day to everyone. We are celebrating Bhakti Yoga every day. That is the conclusion of all the yogas, because Bhagavad Gita describes many types of yoga. The first there is the yoga ladder is the first there is Ugra Karmi, then he becomes Karma Kandi, then he becomes Sakama Karmi, then he becomes Nishkama Karmi. Then there is element of Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and the conclusion of Dhyana Yoga is Bhakti Yoga. So when the Supreme Lord is defining Dhyana Yoga, he describes Yoginam api sarvesham madgater antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamomatah. That amongst all the yogis, the best is the one who is performing devotional service. And within devotional service, there are 9 types of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Ityadi. Taramadhya Sarvasreshta Nama Sankirtan. And amongst those devotional service, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives most prominent importance to 5 of them, Pancha Mahasadhan. And one of them is studying Srimad Bhagavatam. So, we are studying Srimad Bhagavatam by the mercy of the Lord and the Guru Parampara with purports of Srila Prabhupada. So and the gathering is quite international. We have devotees joining from London and Australia and other places. Okay. So ours is the International Yoga Day every day. But we have to do something, that typically yoga people mean around, right? We have to do something on the body also, because body is very important for a devotee especially. This is the sadhan to take care of the sadhana so that one can attain the sadhya, Krishna prema. So soon we will do something on, some exercise together or something like that. 20 minutes. Some other slot, of course. But we have to do, everybody has to do something, right? So we are where, Prabhuji? 20
Yes, Surya,
text
22, 23, and 24 are covered.
22, 20, 23. Thank you. Yes. So text 22. Excellent. परमानुग्रहो दण्डो भृत्येषु प्रभुनार्पिताः बालो न वेद तत्त्वन्वी बन्धुकृत्यम् अमर्षणः. Translation.
My dear slender maiden, when a master chastises his servant, the servant should accept this as a great mercy. One who becomes angry must be very foolish not to know that such is the duty of his friend. Purport. It is said that
Purport,
when a
we
foolish
already read. So I'll just go through the important points of the purports. So here, King Puranjan has completely surrendered to the intelligence, And he says that when a master chastises the servant should accept that as a great mercy. And more we become senior in spiritual life, we will have very less people who will be correcting us. We have to literally beg to people for the feedback. You will never receive a feedback, right? And therefore, it is very important that we should have some good friend who is giving us feedback. And when somebody who gives us feedback, one should be extremely grateful because feedback progressively becomes very, very rare in spiritual life, right? In the purport, Srila Prabhupada describes that uh, when a foolish man is instructed about something nice, generally he cannot accept it. That is the definition of a fool, that he will not accept the good counsel, right? It is like the serpent, Prabhupada says, fed with the milk and banana, it will only increase the poison. And thus, when a fool is instructed, he does not rectify himself, but actually becomes angry. And therefore, whenever we are giving feedback, we should give very carefully. Those who are teachable, those who are accepting mode, only to them the feedback should be given. And when we are receiving feedback, we should receive as if we have 1,000 hands, right? That receiving feedback is very, very important. Feedback will not come very easily. Text 23. सात्वं मुखं सुदति सुष्वनुरागभार व्रीडावलम्बविलसत् हसिदावलोकम् नीलालक अलभि उपस्कृतम् उन्नसं नः स्वानां प्रदर्श मनस्विनि वल्गुवाक्यम्. Translation.
My dear wife, your teeth are very beautifully set, and your attractive features make you appear very thoughtful. Kindly give up your anger, be merciful upon me, and please smile upon me with loving attachment. When I see a smile on your beautiful face, and when I see your hair, which is as beautiful as the color blue, and see your raised nose and hear your sweet talk, you will become more beautiful to me and thus attract me and oblige me. You are my most respected mistress.
Yeah. So here, Puranjan is trying to persuade, and now he says, Manaswini Valguvakyam. Manaswini is described here as very thoughtful personality, and Valguvakyam with sweet words. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that an effeminate husband, simply being attracted by the external beauty, tries to become her most obedient servant. Right. So now purports are coming with different context. Right. So something is for the Prabhuji now here. And therefore, Sripad Shankaracharya has very strongly condemned the aspects of the beauty. And Srila Prabhupada quotes the story of the liquid beauty, that how once a man got attracted to a very manaswini, a thoughtful, devoted lady, and he was Gunda number one, and there was no question of saying no to him. So she just postponed, and she said that please, just give me 1 week. In 1 week's time, I will give my beauty to you. And then, we know the story. She took a lot of laxatives, purgatives kind of thing, and stored all the vomit and the excreta in a pot. And after 7 days, when the man arrived, then what happened is that, he could not realize that he was asking this old person who was standing at the gate, and he said that, where is that beautiful girl who is gone? And the girl said, oh, this is me only. And the man said, I cannot believe this. She was so beautiful. And Prabhupada quotes this story, and then she said, you are attracted to the beauty, I have stored the beauty, please go and enjoy it. And then you know the story, what happened, right? And this is how Prabhupada's description of this story of liquid beauty. And this is same for, the all combination of mass and flesh, Prabhupada writes here. When one returns to original Krishna consciousness, one actually becomes steady and his life becomes successful. So, the real beauty of the jiva is his devotion to the Supreme Lord. Right, text 24. तस्मिन् दधेदमहं तव वीरपाले योऽन्यत्र भूसुरकुलात् कृतकिल्बिषत्वम् पश्चेन वीतभयमन्मुदितं त्रिलोक्याम् अन्यत्र वै मुरुरिपो इतरत्र दासात्. Translation.
Translation: O hero's wife, kindly tell me if someone has offended you. I am prepared to give such a person punishment as long as he does not belong to the Brahmana caste. But for the servant of Muraripu, Krishna, I excuse no one within or beyond these three worlds. No one can freely move after offending you, for I am prepared to punish him. Purport: according to Vedic civilization, a
We have
Brahmana.
covered the purport, I think, right? 25 we have
Yes,
covered. So we'll just go through. Oh, Veerapatni. Okay, right. So this is Tasmin Dadhe Damoham Tava Veerapatni. He's saying, oh, hero's wife. Who is the hero? Puranjan only. He's saying, oh, hero's wife. Kindly tell me if someone has offended you. Right. I am prepared to give such a person a punishment as long as he does not belong, but a servant of Maharipu, that is Lord Krishna. I excuse no one or beyond these three words. And no one can offend you. I am prepared to punish. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada describes in the Vedic civilization, devotee and as well as the Vaishnava, they were not subjected to the rules and regulations of the state. So, why? Because, so Vedic civilization, first thing is Brahmana is not decided by birth. Okay, is decided by Brahmajanati, or one who is Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. And similarly, a Vaishnava who is Muradvisha, devotee of the Muradvisha, is considered beyond the rules and regulations. And upon breaking the law, everybody was punished by the government except the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. They were punished by other Brahmanas and other Vaishnavas. Okay, it is not that. Generally, they will never transgress, and if any such occurrence will be handled differently, right? Will be handled differently. So this is the general Vedic civilization. And later, Srila Prabhupada quotes about Maharaj Prithu, who was the Purvaj of Prachina Barhi. He never chastised a Brahmana or a Vaishnava. He was always very respectful to them. One whose intelligence or pure Krishna consciousness becomes polluted by material activity. Pure consciousness can be revived. So the pure consciousness becomes polluted by material activities, and it has to be revived by yajna dana tapa, and ultimately the actions in Krishna consciousness. And therefore, here, although Puranjan is fully captivated, Puranjan has, but still, while giving example, here is saying that as long as somebody is not Muradvisha, a bhakta of the Muradvisha or Bhusura Kula. Bhusura Kula is the group of the demigods on this earth. Bhusura Kula. Who are these groups of the demigods on the earth? The Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. Right. I am ready to chastise anyone. And here, Prabhupada quotes here that one should be very careful not to offend a Vaishnava or a Brahmana. One may be extremely powerful, but all his powers can be destroyed by Vaishnava Aparadha. Right. And Srila Prabhupada gives example of Yogi Durvas, who unnecessarily became envious of the fame of Ambarish Maharaj, picked up a quarrel with him, and then Lord taught him such a lesson, right, that it's unprecedented. He went to Indra, Brahma, Shiva. He could cross Vaitarani and go to the spiritual realm, right? But nobody, including Lord Vishnu, could save him. And Lord Vishnu told him that I am sold out person to my devotees. Just like a Pativrata Stri purchases her husband, similarly, I am being purchased by my devotee. I cannot forgive you. Only person who can forgive is Maharaj Ambarish. And then such a great sannyasi, such a great mendicant had to fall ordinary householder who was a Vaishnava, and thus Durvas Muni was chastised. The conclusion is that Prabhupada writes that Krishna consciousness is covered by material sins, and one can eliminate sins simply by chanting Hare Krishna. One has to become devotee. And to become devotee means one has to chant Hare Krishna. And especially there are days who are called as a mother of devotion, Bhakti Janani. One such day is coming now very soon. On 25th we have Pandav Nirjal Ekadashi, right? So we'll try to chant as many rounds there. So by chanting Hare Krishna, but if one pollutes Krishna consciousness by offending a Brahmana or Vaishnava, one cannot revive it until one properly atones for the sin by pleasing the Vaishnava and the Brahmana. Vaishnava aparadh cannot be atoned by any other means than by begging pardon of the offended devotee. And it is so difficult. I mean, when we offend somebody, again to go back to him and wholeheartedly say, I am really very sorry, Prabhuji, and that devotee also accepts it wholeheartedly is very, very difficult. Right? Most of the time, the tendencies are very neophyte. So, best course of action is never to offend the Vaishnava. Now, why we offend the Vaishnava is because, now this is a very important statement. Instead of treating ISKCON as a hospital, we treat ISKCON as a police station. Right? So, what this means is, ISKCON is hospital. Hospital means that we get admitted with different material diseases. That Kama, Krodha, ityadi. And in the hospital, you don't see that one Maris is laughing at another patient, saying that, hey, you are, because he also knows I am also patient. He is also patient. Level of, the disease may be different. So we are in a hospital, but we treat ISKCON as police station, as if we are the constable and some criminals are got to us, and then we say that, hey, तुमने क्यों किया, ये क्यों किया, इसने ऐसा किया, इसने वैसा किया, and we become police and the judge, right? And when we judge, we will be judged, and therefore it is very important. And in that, the frame of mind, we keep offending Vaishnavas, which can very easily dry away one's devotional service. So, keeping this in mind, just imagine devotee will think 10 times before giving a feedback. And if somebody gives us a feedback, how grateful we should be to receive that feedback. Right? So it is very important to receive feedback very well. One should be always remain teachable, and one should be extremely grateful to receive feedback so that the next time the feedback comes. If somebody gives us feedback and we become upset, then we will beg for forgiveness and feedback will never come to us. And therefore it is very important to not to do Vaishnava aparadh. And when people give us feedback, we should not think they are doing Vaishnava aparadh, but we should be in a teachable mode. Right. Now we come to text 25. Vaktram nate vitilekam malinam viharsham samrambhavimam vivristam apetaragam पश्येस्तनावति शुचोपहौ सुजातौ बिम्बाधरं विगतकण्डुं पंगरागम. Translation.
My dear wife, until this day I have never seen your face without tilaka decorations, nor have I seen you so morose and without luster or affection, nor have I seen your two nice breasts wet with tears from your eyes, nor have I ever before seen your lips, which are ordinarily as red as bimba fruit without their reddish hue. Purport. Every woman looks beautiful when decorated with tilaka and vermilion. A woman generally becomes very attractive when her lips are colored with reddish saffron or vermilion. But when one's consciousness and intelligence are without any brilliant thoughts about Krishna, they become morose and lusterless, so much so that one cannot derive any benefit despite sharp intelligence. Hare Krishna.
So now, Puranjan is saying to his wife, again the living entity is saying to his intelligence, that I have never seen you without these decorations. And especially here, there is a different descriptions, decorating the forehead with tilaka, decorating the lips with the Vedic lipstick. Okay. So there are some organic lipsticks also which have come in the market, right? And it looks like Prabhupada also says that it is allowed. Okay. There are pure veg organic lipsticks. Okay. Anyway, so I have never seen your face without tilaka decoration or kumkum. Never a million. In Pune, there is one personality. Her name is Shefali Vaidya, and she has started a movement called as No Bindi, No Business. Okay, and it's a very important movement because most of the marketing people are coming from the leftist thought. And if you see the models which are shown in the any like any advertisement, they look so dry, and they look like some like just like you have Yamadutas, the female version of Yamadutas only they look. No bindi. And this was a systematic attack on the Sanatan ideologies, where people started separating the Sanatan, uh, you know, appearance from, like they said that Diwali, and there was a big advertisement on Diwali that Jashne, what is it say, Prakash in Urdu? Light in Urdu. What is the word in Urdu?
Is it Bijli? I don't know.
No, Bijli is Vidyut. Light. Okay, chalo. So something like Jashne
Ujala.
Prakash.
Diya Prabhu, Diya.
No, Diya.
Ujala.
You all are too pure. Okay, so it was something like that. So now Diwali no more remains a Diwali, which is connected to Lord Ram and Lord Krishna. It has just become Jashne Prakash or Jashne Ujala or something like that. And similarly, the models you can very carefully observe. This he says that she says that to put a bindi or not is woman's personal choice, and we respect that. But when you systematically remove bindi from all your models, what happens is that you are attacking Sanatan. And initially, I was also confused a bit, but then realized that yeah, it is correct. And there is this kind of awakening is also there. And you just type this on Google, no bindi, no business, you will come. So bindi is important. Of course, it's personal choice, but just I thought. So they made a group where whenever they show model without bindi, they just boycott those kind of products. Okay. And Prabhupada writes here, when one's consciousness and intelligence are without any brilliant thoughts about Krishna, one becomes morose and lusterless. It's extremely beautiful point, right? That materialism and the material thoughts will not make us, why devotee becomes beautiful is because he's always filled with thought about Krishna, right? And and the one big way to fill our thoughts about Krishna is to study Srimad Bhagavatam every day. There are devotees, and some of you also may vouch for this, that when we study Srimad Bhagavatam every day, you will naturally become brilliant. And people will say, कुछ अलग है प्रभु जी आपके लाइफ में माता जी, right? क्या आजकल क्या अलग कर रहे हो आप? And then you say, no, it is not some new face pack I am using. It is Srimad Bhagavatam. Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogatah Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate. Evam prasanna manaso. Right? That who doesn't have material problems? Everybody has. Last 30 years I have seen people richer than the richest to the very, very modest people. Everybody has problems. Every big person also has a problem. The bigger the person, the bigger the problem, unsolvable by money. But when we magna chitta, when we stoop our mind with Krishna, especially with Srimad Bhagavatam, what happens is that we become brilliant. And that's why Srila Prabhupada says, my devotees are bright faced. Why bright faced? Because they carry the source of all brightness within, that is Krishna, and therefore they are very bright faced. When some consciousness and intelligence are without any brilliant thought about Krishna, they become morose and lusterless. Right? So much so that one cannot derive any benefit despite sharp intelligence. So cannot derive any benefit means all their benefit will be in the realm of materialism. That is ahar, nidra, bhaya ityadi. And the refined ways of that it will not go beyond ahar, nidra, bhaya ityadi. Text 26. So this is the last verse of this chapter. Okay, do we have time? We started little late. There is some glitch in the software. So we'll just go ahead with one verse. तन्मे प्रसीद सरद कृतकिल्बिषस्य स्वैरं गतस्य मृगयां व्यसनातुरस्य कादेवरं वशगदं कुसुमास्त्रवेग विस्त्रस्त्रप्राश्नमुनशिं न भजेत कृत्ये. Translation.
My dear queen, due to my sinful desires, I went to the forest without asking you. Therefore, I must admit that I have offended you. Nonetheless, thinking of me as your most intimate subordinate, you should still be very much pleased with me. Factually, I am very much bereaved, but being pierced by the arrow of Cupid, I am feeling lusty. But where is the beautiful woman who would give up her lusty husband and refuse to unite with him? Purport. Both man and woman desire one another. That is the basic principle of material existence. Women in general always keep themselves beautiful so that they can be attractive to their lusty husbands. When a lusty husband comes before his wife, the wife takes advantage of his aggressive activities and enjoys life. Generally, when a woman is attacked by a man, whether her husband or some other man, she enjoys the attack, being too lusty. In other words, when one's intelligence is properly utilized, both the intellect and the intelligent person enjoy one another with great satisfaction. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.9.45, Yenmaitunadi grohamedi sukam hi tucham. Nena Karayor Iva Dukka Dukkam. The actual happiness of the karmis is sense gratificatory life. They work very hard outside the home, and to satiate themselves after their hard labor, they come home to enjoy sense gratificatory life. King Puranjana went to forest to hunt, and after his hard labor, he returned home to enjoy sense gratificatory life. If a man lives outside the home and spends a week in a city or somewhere else, at the end of the week, he becomes very anxious to return home and enjoy sense gratification with his wife. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Yen maitunadi gruhamedi sukam, hi tucham. Karmis work very hard simply to enjoy sense gratification. Modern human society is improved the materialistic way of life simply by inducing unrestricted sense gratification in life in many different ways. This is most prominent visible in the Western world. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 4th canto, 26th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled King Puranjana goes to the forest to hunt, and his queen becomes angry. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. So he further says, due to my sinful desires, I went to the forest without asking you, and thus I have offended you. So unchastity is offense to the other spouse, right? It's very, very important. Unchaste behavior by one person is a great offense to another personality in the relationship. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada describes that both man and woman, they desire to enjoy, and that is the basic principle of the material nature, Purusha and Prakriti. And Prabhupada writes a brilliant statement here. When one's intelligence is properly utilized, both the intellect and the intelligent person enjoy one another with great satisfaction. Sometimes you just come across a nectarian gem of a Vaishnava commentary, Prabhupada's commentary, purport like this, and daily, literally, when we study Srimad Bhagavatam, daily we come across such wonderful points. So what happens is that the intellect become happy and the intelligent person also becomes very happy. Otherwise, life is just about work hard and party harder. And Prabhupada says this is predominantly observed in the Western world, that without the goal of spiritual realization, people simply work extremely hard and try to party extremely harder and thus get implicated into sinful life. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada. Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Prabhu, small
Everyone.
question.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Prabhu, you were saying like ISKCON is treated as police station instead of hospital. So just like thinking, like when we try to encourage other new devotees, we try to tend them help. Basically, no, Prabhu, not like this or like this. So is this correct, or where should we keep our boundary in guiding other devotees?
That is very correct. And that is required. In fact, if we fall short of, taking care of our people by not telling them and not giving them proper feedback, then we are actually, we are doing greatest disservice. We are approving their, the otherwise behavior, and that's a big problem. So, in the name of Vaishnav, avoiding Vaishnav Aparadh, one should not fall short of one's duty as a leader for their group. So when we are leader of our group, like parents, parents cannot say, oh, my child is a Vaishnava, how can I correct him? And the child will go to hell and the parents also will follow. I remember this answer by Jayadvait Maharaj. So that time, the pastime of Gopal Bhatta Goswami was going on, who is very famous for not finding any fault with the Vaishnava. So I asked this question to Maharaj. I said that, Maharaj, if we simply follow Gopal Bhatta Goswami and do not find fault with the people, and even the people who are assigned to us as counselor, as counselees and mentees, kind of a thing, that we are find nahi karne ka fault. We'll never find fault. Maharaj just gave one line answer. Maharaj is famous for his one-liners. Maharaj said that you will surely enjoy the sense gratification of being a pure devotee, and your followers will go to hell. And is the next question. Okay, the style of Maharaj, Jayadvait Swami Maharaj. So if we do not do our activity well, then we have no right to call ourselves or take the position of a leadership position. So leader means he has to be concerned about people. He has to be concerned about their good behavior, good manners, good etiquettes. We have to teach them. And one should not go in this pure devotee syndrome, right? And there is no aparadh. In fact, it's a big daya on the people that somebody is training us.
So where should we keep our boundary, Prabhu? Like sometimes we may take granted like other devotees, or like too much correction is also not correct. And as you said, it's a disservice if we don't correct. So where do we keep our own self-check and boundaries so that we don't
That's the
become
eternal
proud?
question, where to keep the boundary. It's a huge question. It's very, very sapeksha. How much is too much and how less is too less is all yoga is all about this balance. Yoga karma kaushalam, right? So this is where the kaushal is required, because there is no limit. I was telling to one devotee that there is no limit how much you can take care of another person. There is no limit how much you can help somebody. There is no limit how much you can become bitter on. So we have to catch the subtle the signals from the other side, and realize that okay, he is still in the teachable mode or he is not in the teachable mode, and accordingly one has to give the suggestions. Okay, but one has to be always well-wishing, very kind personality, trying to help people, trying to be kind to them, always wishing good for them, like that it is. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.